Before we dive in, hit subscribe, leave a comment, and turn on notifications, because some nights don't just end, they follow you home. The taxi rolled to a stop under the buzzing streetlight, its engine still running. From the outside, it looked ordinary, another late-night fare in Manhattan. But when the driver turned around, the back seat told a different story. A young man sat slumped forward, his head tilted at an unnatural angle, lips pale, eyes unblinking. No response, no movement, just silence, heavy and final. By the time NYPD arrived, the crowd had already gathered. Phones were raised, whispers spread fast. The man had been picked up outside a popular gay bar in Hell's Kitchen less than an hour earlier. He'd been laughing, witnesses said, talking to two men he'd just met. Then he disappeared into the night and never came back. At first, police suspected the usual explanations: overdose, alcohol, another tragic night gone too far. The city had seen it before, but something didn't sit right. The victim's wallet was missing, his phone was gone, and hours after his death, his bank account was still active, money draining out in real time. Detective Marcus Hale stood under the streetlight, staring at the taxi like it might speak back to him. 15 years on the force had taught him one thing: random deaths didn't leave organized trails. This one did. Then, just weeks later, it happened again. This time, the body was found in a quiet apartment. The victim, visiting from out of town, had gone out alone, telling friends he'd be back after one drink. Security footage showed him leaving another NYC gay bar, flanked by two men, confident, smiling, in no rush. He never made another call. Inside the apartment, there were no signs of a struggle, no forced entry, but his phone was missing, his credit cards had been used, and toxicology would later reveal substances he never took voluntarily. 2 deaths, 2 nights out, same neighborhoods, same pattern of theft. Still, the cases weren't officially linked. Families demanded answers. Friends pushed back against early assumptions. They insisted these men were careful, responsible, not reckless. And as detectives dug deeper, they uncovered something far more disturbing than coincidence. Reports began surfacing, men waking up hours later with no memory, accounts wiped clean, phones gone. Some survived. Some were too embarrassed to report it. Others didn't realize what had happened until it was already over. Detective Hale started mapping the incidents: bar names, dates, times, ATM withdrawals, surveillance footage. Faces began repeating, movements aligned. What looked like random tragedy slowly took the shape of something calculated, predatory. And then came the detail that changed everything. A medical examiner flagged both deaths with the same chilling note. The substances found in their systems were nearly identical, powerful drugs mixed intentionally, designed not to kill, but capable of doing exactly that. When Hale pinned the photos to the board and stepped back, the room went quiet. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't a single crime. This was a pattern, and whoever was behind it wasn't finished yet. But when investigators finally zoomed in on a piece of security footage from a third night showing the same 2 men approaching another unsuspecting victim, the truth became even darker than they feared. The grainy footage played on a loop inside the precinct, each rewind tightening the knot in Detective Hale's chest. 2 men, always 2. They moved through the crowd like they belonged there, laughing, buying drinks, blending into the noise and neon of Hell's Kitchen. To everyone else, they looked like just another pair of friends enjoying a night out. To Hale, they looked like predators who had learned how to hide in plain sight. The timeline was coming together faster than anyone expected. Bank records showed withdrawals within minutes of each victim going missing. Surveillance cameras captured brief, almost intimate moments: hands on shoulders, heads leaning close, a shared cigarette outside a club. Nothing that screamed danger, everything that screamed trust. Detective Lena Ortiz joined the case after noticing something others had missed. The victims weren't random, they were chosen. Each one had recently arrived in the city or was celebrating something, a birthday, a promotion, a visit from out of town. People less likely to be cautious, less likely to have someone checking on them that same night. They didn't just take money, Ortiz said, tapping the evidence board. They took time. They waited until the victims were completely defenseless. Survivors began to come forward once police quietly reached out to local bars. One man described waking up on a park bench at sunrise, phone gone, pockets empty, body heavy as stone. Another remembered accepting a drink from a stranger, then nothing, just darkness. Every story followed the same script with slight variations, the same charm, the same smile. As pressure mounted, the suspect seemed to sense it. On a Friday night, officers tailed one of the men seen repeatedly on camera. He moved casually from bar to bar, scanning the room. When his eyes locked on to a potential target, he smiled and then abruptly left. No contact, no drinks, almost as if he knew he was being watched. The next morning, a new report landed on Hale's desk. Another man had been found unconscious in a stairwell, alive barely. Toxicology showed the same drug mixture, but this time there was something else. The victim remembered a name, or at least part of one. That partial name cracked the case open. Detectives traced it through prior arrests, social connections, and phone records. The two men weren't strangers to each other. They shared addresses, shared rides, shared nights out, and most chilling of all, shared messages discussing withdrawals, balances, and how easy some nights had been. But before warrants could be signed, one suspect vanished. His apartment was empty, clothes gone, phone disconnected, social media wiped clean. It felt like the ground shifting under their feet. Hale knew what that meant. A cornered animal didn't stop hunting, it became more dangerous. Then came the call that everyone feared. A bartender recognized the remaining suspect from a police flyer and reported him leaving with another man, drunk and unsteady, just past midnight. By the time officers arrived, both were gone. Cameras showed them heading toward the river. As patrol cars flooded the area and helicopters cut through the night sky, Hale's phone buzzed with an alert from a nearby ATM. The card had just been used, and it belonged to someone who was supposed to be alive. The ATM receipt printed at 2:17 a.m., the ink still warm when officers pulled the footage. A hooded figure leaned in close to the machine, glancing over his shoulder, fingers shaking just enough to give him away. Detective Hale recognized the jacket instantly. They'd seen it before, too many times. Patrol units converged on the area within minutes. Sirens cut through the night, echoing off brick walls and empty streets. The suspect ran. He didn't look back. He cut through an alley, vaulted a fence, and nearly disappeared into the dark until he slipped. When officers caught him, his pockets told the story he refused to speak. Multiple phones, credit cards with different names, a vial nearly empty. The victim was found an hour later, alive but barely breathing, slumped near the river's edge. Paramedics worked fast. This time, the clock didn't run out. Under interrogation, the suspect broke. Not all at once, not dramatically, just small cracks that spread. He admitted they never meant to kill anyone. They just wanted what was easy. A drink slipped, a body that went limp, a phone unlocked with a thumb pressed against glass. If someone didn't wake up, they panicked and left. The second suspect was arrested 2 days later, hiding in a friend's apartment, convinced the city had already forgotten him. It hadn't. Prosecutors laid out the case like a map of betrayal. Messages, surveillance, financial trails, expert testimony that explained how the drug combinations turned theft into murder. The courtroom was silent as families listened to the final timeline, minute by minute, breath by breath. Guilty. Sentences were handed down that would keep both men behind bars for decades. The judge called the crimes calculated, cowardly, and cruel. The words echoed, but they didn't bring back what was lost. Memorials appeared outside the bars where the nights had begun. Flowers, photos,
Notes from strangers who said the same thing over and over. This could have been me. Police quietly reopened older cases. Some matched, some didn't. Not every answer came. Not every victim got justice. And that's the part that still haunts Detective Hale. Because patterns don't just end. They pause. They wait for someone else to think no one is watching. 3 months after the convictions, a report came in from another city. Different bar, different faces, same method, same silence after a night that should have ended safely. The copycat theory was dismissed, officially, but Hale kept the old board in his office, photos never taken down. Because the most terrifying thing about this case wasn't how it started, it was how easy it was. If this story shook you, you're not ready for what comes next. Stay alert, stay curious, and don't forget to subscribe, because some stories refuse to stay buried.